Every child loves toys and every parent buys them. But until recently, toys were not all they seemed. Harmful chemicals were used routinely in their manufacture, and small parts that could easily break off and choke a child were commonplace. But thanks to legislation guided through the European Parliament by the EPP-ED Group, toys are now safer than ever before. EU toy safety legislation had existed for some time, but the legislation was at risk of becoming outdated. More sophisticated toys are being produced all the time, and toy production is concentrated more and more in countries outside the EU, such as China. The European Commission therefore proposed upgrading the legislation in order to protect the most vulnerable consumers of all, children. Belgian MEP Marianne Thyssen was the Parliament's rapporteur on the dossier. Why was there a need to pass this legislation?
Times are changing, so we had a lot of new types of toys, a lot of new technology, and on the other hand also spectacular scientific progress, and this meant that there were new challenges and we wanted to respond to those new challenges, of course.
What were your guiding principles during the legislative process?
We tried to have a balanced legislation, and we tried also, and we succeeded in making it possible also for the enterprises to have viable legislation. I think the result is it's a good equilibrium. On the one hand, we have the most strict legislation of the whole world. We are even stricter than the US toy safety legislation. On the other hand, we have prohibited that we had too strong rules for the industry.
For toy manufacturers, this legislation was a chance to promote their products as the safest and most advanced toys in the world. The EPP-ED Group made sure throughout that the industry was fully involved in the legislative process and had a chance to help shape the new proposals. I'm here in a traditional toy shop in central Brussels, and joining me today is the president of TIE, an industry action group, Mr. Brian Ellis. Brian, first of all, to what extent did the industry accept that toy safety regulations needed to be updated?
Oh, clearly we had a 20-year-old directive and it needed updating. I mean, it's not a once in every 20-year event, you have to understand, because the Standards Authority, SEN, is constantly updating standards to meet new materials and new processes. But we were very happy to cooperate with the updating of the directive.
How would you describe the level of cooperation between the industry and the European Parliament on this dossier?
It was very good, actually. I think we were very pleased, particularly with the EPP, who gave us a lot of time, took a lot of time to understand the issues and to understand the industry's position. But in general, the European parliamentarians gave us time, gave us access and listened, which actually was very encouraging.
How important was the role of the EPP-ED Group in guiding this legislation through the Parliament?
They were the one group who really did understand the issues. We got individuals from other groups who took time and energy, but EPP as a group, across a large number of members, took real time and energy to understand the issues.
So what can you say about the safety of toys like these that EU consumers buy now?
I think if a EU consumer goes to a proper toy shop, make sure that it's properly CE marked and the country of origin is clearly marked, they're probably buying the safest consumer products available in Europe.
The toy safety dossier might not be on the same level as many of the large packages of legislation that have been adopted by the European Parliament in the past 5 years. However, the group's work on this legislation was undoubtedly one of the highlights of this parliamentary term.
More than once we urged the European Commission to come up with new proposals, to do some research, to see whether we could do better than in the Toy Safety Directive of 1988. And finally the Commission came up with a proposal. We've got a rapporteurship about this, and we made it even better. And we tried to do it, and we succeeded in doing it in a good cooperation with the other political groups, but we had the lead. And I think that the result is a good result, so we can be proud on that.
The EPP-ED's work on toy safety is one of the many success stories of this parliamentary mandate. It's just another example of how the group is making a positive impact on behalf of families across Europe.